legislation, we really did try to strike balance with this legislation. And you'll notice that I think we're now 3 weeks into the public consideration of the legislation that we've tabled. There's been a lot of commentary out there on this online, in the media and elsewhere. And I think the response that we're getting back is generally a sense that that is the case. There are, the only people who are opposed to this legislation are really two groups of radical extremists. And in the continuum of political ideology, if you go really extreme to the right and really extreme to the left, it actually circles back around. That's sort of where we are. There are those who pretend to be in favor of copyright reform, but they don't believe in actual copyright reform. There are those who are cited as experts by the media, endlessly, who are not in favor of copyright reform. They favor only weakening legislation and only gutting tools that would allow those who are actually investing into creating jobs to be able to continue to have their jobs. And some of these people, I think, are given far too much voice. And I think if you look at this balance, anybody who's truly objective looks at this legislation will realize that everybody has a little bit of water in their wine with this legislation because it requires that kind of balance. When we started off our copyright proposal, I can tell you, the Prime Minister said, this is he was a staffer back in the early 1980s for under Brian Mulroney's government, and he said, since then until now, this has been an ongoing issue. And he said, good luck with that, because there are people with such dying interests. And I think with this legislation, if you don't have an absolutist view, if you are actually open-minded and you want to make sure that the whole of the campus creative economy can move forward, then I think you can strike a right balance, and I think that this legislation does that. But don't let those, some of them who are out there who get cited, as I say, endlessly by the media, who pretend to be experts on copyright reform, who put a smiling, shiny, cute face on what is actually a pretty disingenuous campaign to undermine the rights, the property rights of individual citizens to invest in their creative goods. And that's what a lot of people do. And we ought not listen to those voices. And if they do speak up, we need to confront them. Those absolutists out there who are babyish in their approach to copyright legislation, to think that any idea that copyright reform would be an attack on individual citizens, are people who frankly don't get it. And let me amend what I said that just a minute ago. Don't ignore those voices. Those people who are out there who are saying that copyright legislation, copyright reform is not good. These are people who are dressing up the fact that they don't believe in copyright reform at all, right? Those people out there who don't believe in copyright at all, they will say, well, Bill C-61, the old copyright legislation, we disagreed with these specific provisions. Well, Bill C-32, we have these specific amendments. Never, don't fool yourself. These voices that are out there, these people out there who pretend to be experts that the media cite all the time, they don't believe in any copyright reform whatsoever. And they will find any excuse to oppose this bill, to drum up fear, to mislead, to misdirect, and to push people in the wrong direction, and to undermine what has been a meaningful, comprehensive, year-long effort to get something right. This hasn't been done, as I said, since 1997, 3 years after I graduated high school. It's been a long time. We need to amend our legislation. And those people out there who try to pretend that they're copyright experts and they want to amend copyright in a meaningful way, don't be fooled by some of these people. They don't believe in any copyright. They don't believe in individuals' right to protect their own creations. And when they speak, they need to be confronted. If it's on Facebook, if it's on Twitter, if it's on a talk show, if it's in a newspaper, confront them and tell them that they are wrong. Canada, from the Hudson Bay Company to the FTA and NAFTA to the G8 and G20, Canada always has been, always will be a trading nation. Our future and our past and our prosperity has always been dependent on investment into Canada, being in compliance with international standards, opening ourselves up to the world, welcoming investment, and working with the world, not being an outlier in the world, disregarding international treaties like WIPO that we've signed, disregarding our obligations to protect foreign investment into Canada, Canadian investment into Canadian businesses. We need to protect those investments, protect those jobs, and make sure that those voices who try to find technical, nonsensical, fear-mongering reasons to oppose copyright reform are confronted every step of the way, and they are defeated. And when we do that, this bill will pass and Canada will be better for it.